You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. It is out. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, 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 welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Tyler, we got Jim. It's Thursday. What up?
Jim goes to a big city for a few days and wears his hat sideways.
The big city? What is that? What's the big city?
DiNardo, has he not told us, I slept in 4 different cities this week. I'm so tired.
Cry, Jim.
Well, I am tired, but yeah, I mean.
He left Kentucky and went to the big city.
This guy goes down to the dirty South.
Cities.
He's got
I was
his
in
hat all
Chicago, then New Orleans, then Dallas. Yeah, okay.
So now he's wearing his hat sideways. He's a cool kid.
New Orleans isn't that big, though. Whatever.
Hold on, wait. I got to do it this way. Who was I last time you said that? Here, Joey Crack. Looking like Fat Joe, Tyler.
No regrets.
Well, so what's up? Guys? What did
How we living, fam?
Are you just not going to talk, Jim? Are you
guys
now?
catch that new TikTok vid?
I didn't get to watch any of the games tonight, which thankfully it sounds like I didn't miss much. But MLB stupid blackout rules. I didn't get to watch anything, but
Word,
yeah, apparently
bro.
I didn't miss much.
Word, bro.
This game tonight.
Feel you, fam.
No, for real. So tonight's game, can I just mention, okay, I think I've probably been the most optimistic, and I'm going to use that very lightly, okay, for lack of other terms, but the most optimistic about Wil Crowe on this show. I think Jim he jumped off the boat rather quickly. Tyler and I were kind of, we're treading a little bit here on the Wil Crowe ship. Tyler jumped off, and I was like, I can't, that bitch. I can't get off this yet. So I've been swimming down Schitt's Creek on the SS Wil Crowe, and I'm officially done. I'm off it. Again, like there are just some things that are intriguing, and it's like every start, he doesn't like implode. It's not like it's at the end of the day you look and you're like, oh my God, this is a clunker. It's like 4.2, 2 earned runs off of 2 homers. But after seeing tonight, like it's just it's it. Like he can't not give up the long ball. And I just feel like his best is that 4.2 innings, 2 earned runs. Like that's his absolute best because he's going to give up 2 home runs. The fact that he only goes 4.2 is what helps him. If he were to go to 5, 6, he's going to give up 3 homers. Keeps going.
The funny part is that you decided to jump off the ship after he pitched in Great American Small Park.
I know, but still, I get it. It wasn't like it was Joey Gallo's 217-foot home run, but I can't do it anymore. It's over. It's an issue. It's a real legit problem.
He's bad.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just he's not a major league starting pitcher. I would like to see him get some time in the bullpen because I do think the stuff is good enough that he can pitch like 1 or 2 innings at a time. But yeah, he's just not somebody you can count on to go out there and give you 5 or 6 innings on a consistent basis. That's just not who he seems to be.
True.
Yeah, and I think we've all talked about the velo ramp up that he has every now and then. That's a perfect guy to throw in the bullpen. He's shown he can throw at a higher velocity. It's so inconsistent right now. command is so bad. I would be okay just switching him and Cody Ponce for the next start.
I know you tossed that around. I mean, it is what it is. It's the 2021 Pittsburgh Pirates season after the trade deadline. So, sure. Like, that's how I feel. Sure.
Ponce's came on as not terrible in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be mad about giving him another shot in the rotation. If he's bad, throw him back in the bullpen where he's been fine.
See, I don't want to see Cody Ponce get any more starts.
Who do you want to see then? There's nobody else.
I'd rather see Kranick.
Why?
I mean, just because we've seen Ponce already. Like,
okay, but if you see Kranick, then you can't see Kranick's not taking someone's spot. He's already there.
Kranick's in Indianapolis right now.
Yeah, but he's pretty much there every other week.
Okay, so keep him here every week. I mean,
he's starting literally close to every fifth day.
I mean, Cody Ponce has had what now? 5 starts in the majors. I guess I'd be okay with giving him a couple, but I'm pretty much over Cody Ponce as a starting option as well. The dude's
pretty much over all of them.
The dude's 27. Like, he's not going to be an option. I would like to see Kranick if we're picking an extra person.
I mean, let's put it this way, because I get both of your points, and that's where I'm at. That's why I was like, meh. You know, like, I really don't care. But at the same token, it's quite possible this team could see Shelby Miller at some point. So, like, at that point in time, would you rather have Shelby Miller as a starter and Ponce in the bullpen? Or would you rather just say, you know what, Ponce, have a start?
Shelby Miller's been pitching out of the bullpen in Indianapolis. So, I mean, it's all over the place right now. He's only started one game.
Oh.
He's only thrown 5 innings.
Well, then it's our boy Dylan Peters. What if it's Dylan Peters?
Yeah, I know. That's the point. Like,
that's where I'm at, like, with the Tyler situation. It's like,
at this point, let's mix and match and figure out.
Right. You're probably going to need guys. And if he is, he is. So what? Because it's this season, because it's after the trade deadline, like, I really don't care. But I know it's not Will Crow. So let's get him out.
And I will give Will Crow credit because they needed him to eat some innings tonight. And somehow he ate a few. Because he was
I know after too.
But he did pitch better after he gave up 14 bombs. But I'll give him the slightest bit of credit because this team really needs someone to eat some innings because Ponce has thrown his ass off in the last week. And they don't have a long reliever left. Their bullpen is shot right now.
I mean, Underwood is basically pitching 2 innings every other game, it seems like. It's the bull. I mean, kudos to the bullpen today. They pitched 4 scoreless. They actually kind of kept the Pirates in the game. Like, I mean,
there was a shot.
I mean, there was a one point where they made it interesting.
Bases loaded. I think 1 out and Reynolds was up.
Yeah,
down 3.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be these next 2 months. It's gonna just be they need someone to just go out there and start some games, right? I mean, if we're looking at this rotation, right, it's cool once he gets back from the COVID list. Brault, Keller's here now. We've got Crow. We've got
Brubaker
dude from the Braves, Bryce Wilson.
Yeah.
Brubaker. So I mean, you've got 6 people there that we just named, and then if you throw Kranick in the mix, I mean, they've got the arms to kind of put together a hodgepodge rotation here. And yeah, I guess I'd be fine with Will Crow not getting another start if that's possible. But I'm also on board with like Mitch Keller also not getting another start too.
So what do you do with
I forgot about that.
Like, I was kind of taken back that Mitch Keller got the call. And mainly for, now you can argue, and some people did it out there, like, who cares at this point in time, because he's not going to become anything. But at the same token, like, you hope he is. But regardless, he was called up, and he only needed, I think, 3 more weeks until he got like another extra year of service time. So like if he goes out there and is still just like pitching like ass, like you're saying, Jim, like why is he up here? Do you just?
I mean, I'm actually fine with Keller like being moved into the bullpen, like and getting time that way. Service time at this point, I'm not really too concerned with. I mean, it's with Keller.
I mean, but it is only 3 weeks, and you get an extra year.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially
Do we
Pirates,
want an
to be
extra
that
year,
close-
Anthony? Do we really want an extra year?
I would say yes, because why not? If you're given that extra year, why not take it?
Because everyone told us he was good.
Okay, so give yourself.
But
that
that's
extra
where
year.
we're at.
Maybe he needs
That
that
is where
one
we're at with
extra
Mitch
year
Keller.
to be good. Maybe in 2026 he'll figure it out. And thankfully, the Pirates put him down in AAA in 2021, and we got him for 2026.
Maybe, I guess, but right now I don't think it's. I think they're more concerned with let's try to figure out how we can make this guy at least a serviceable pitcher. And maybe
With
they
that
thought
said,
that calling him up.
Did-
Maybe they thought calling him up would have helped. It didn't. He sucks.
Well, I mean, if you ask him, he thought it was
I know
a
he
good start.
just.
He thought there were some really good things about that start.
You know
He
what? Good
felt
for
good.
him that he could take positives from that because every time I watch him pitch, I want to blow my brains out.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you just gotta put together someone who can give you 5 innings. Like that's where we're at right now. I don't really know if anybody in this rotation outside of, I mean, I guess Kranick, you want to see more of just because you want to find out if he's interesting or not.
He's not.
Bryce Wilson, I also want to see a lot more of.
Not interesting either. I know, Jim. I'm
He's-
with you.
The dude's
But
23.
it's like, God.
The dude's 23. Like he is interesting. I am interested in Bryce Wilson.
Give it.
I guess
Give
if
it
there
3
was
weeks.
I guess if there was like a one person in the rotation that like I want to see every 5th day, it's Bryce Wilson.
Buckle says Cahill available. No, man, Cahill's out. He's done. He fell downstairs.
Cahill's done for the year.
The other side part of it is you could probably see them start to skip a Brubaker start or so
I think
because we've discussed that.
Yeah. Although Brubaker had a really good start last time.
He did,
I
but
do believe.
I think down the stretch we could see that.
yes.
Well, you are already seeing pitchers getting pulled even earlier now, right? I mean, we've seen it with Brubaker
Mhm.
a couple of times. We've seen it with, and we saw it with Brault, but that was his first game back. But like even after 4 innings, like they're pulling them even in good games.
I mean, they've been doing
So
that
I
since
think
day
they're-
one.
Yeah. Brubaker just passed. What did we say that earlier this year was, hey, how many pitchers are going to throw 100 innings? Was that that was the number we threw out? I mean, Brubaker
Was it?
just passed the 100 innings for the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's surpassed way more innings than he's pitched like the 2 years beforehand. So, like
Mhm.
that was kind of my concern. Maybe that's the reason why he was giving up a lot of home runs and he was breaking down just because of the workload. So, regardless, I could, like Tyler said, I mean, that was going to be a major concern for all the pitchers for the most part. We felt for the Pirates, right? That's why
Right.
you need arms. That's why a guy like Cahill was signed and he needed him because you needed some guys to pitch, regardless of how good they are. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I certainly feel. I don't know if a Brubaker like skipping starts is going to happen. It just seems the way they're doing it is going to utilize him by just like Jim said, you're going to go out there for 4 innings. We're going to pull you. But with that also being said, we talked about the amount of guys and such. I mean, I'm still for this. I still really am. I'm going to talk about it again, but Brault's coming back up. Like, I mean, do you guys want to see a piggyback? Because you keep talking about like saving these rotation guys, but at the same point, as I mentioned early on in this season, like we're so worried about these starters, but we're just throwing these bullpen arms out day after day. Like, how many guys are going to get injured in the bullpen because of all that? So, like, maybe this piggyback and save the bullpen finally as well, and not just worrying about these starters all the time. Broughton, cool. Let's do it.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, they've utilized it in the past, and especially when you've got I mean, we just named 6 or 7 people who could technically be in the starting rotation. A good way to give all of them some playing time, but at the same time not have them pitch 5 or 6 innings every time out. That's an option.
You also go to
the only thing is when you do that, then you're limiting the number of relief options available. But who knows how much of that we need if you're piggybacking half the time. It's interesting. Right. I don't know the best. I wouldn't know the best way to construct the roster at that point.
Yeah, I don't care. You can piggyback Cole and Bro. Neither of them interest me at all.
I don't know if you can piggyback like 3 different times through the rotation is what I'm saying.
Like it's a bunch of bad pitchers, and eventually the Rooster's going to come home and hatch. They all stink.
So there you go, Jim. So you piggyback them 2, and then Kranick comes up for the one start, and that's how you save some. Then he goes back down, right? That's why he's going to keep pitching every other week, as Tyler suggested, right? Kranick comes and saves the day for a little bit. I mean, that's how you manage it. I mean, just look what the Dodgers have been doing. That's how you manage it. You just have everyone go on the 10-day IL. That's it. Or you call them down and call them up, and that's it.
Just give me a guy that can throw 6 damn innings.
We don't have any of those, so
I like your idea. Let's just do what the Dodgers do. Let's just be the Dodgers. How about that?
What did we joke about earlier on this season because of all the pitchers that are come up with the system, right? Did we joke about like having like 19 starters throughout the year? Everyone keeps going up and down. At the end of the year, everyone has like 20 days of service time.
Yeah, the problem we run into there though is your Hooray has been getting service time this whole time. Has been on the 60-day IL, right?
Right.
So,
but he's also there's
on the
another
IL.
option. He's making rehab starts.
Yeah.
He needs to hurry up. Yeah, hurry up.
He needs to hurry up.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Wow.
That's what happens when you've had 8 Busch Lights already.
No, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's got that
4 in
beast
there.
ice.
Okay, maybe 9. I'm sorry, I got bored waiting on Jim while he's in there like doing some weird Facebook stream. I don't know.
Yeah. Did the Steelers win?
I actually don't know. They were winning when I left. Haskins got pulled, so I walked away.
Got it.
Couldn't watch that game either, Jim. Blacked out too.
No, I wasn't blacked out. I just didn't want to watch it.
Nice.
I just have no interest. No interest.
Yeah, Lamar wasn't playing.
Exactly.
Most running backs don't really play much in the preseason, though, right? Like how much did Najee play? Not too much, right? So.
Nah, I made it a quarter.
Oh, okay. Anyways, back to the real sport. Back to baseball. So, okay, yes, we know the pitching stinks, and this rest of the season, I mean, I can't stress it enough. I know we all kind of stressed it right now, but it's going to be less interesting, that's for sure. But we do have one thing that's certainly interesting and a reason to watch, and that's Brian Reynolds. So obviously, we know what he's been doing this year. The bat's been amazing. Right. Way better than I think any of us had ever anticipated. I'm not jumping off the bridge and saying, oh, here's MVP discussions about him. I mean, he's on a terrible team. There's, to me, still more worthy players of being MVP. And with that said, though, what I do want to discuss is, so the bat's been there. He's been really good. But that glove has been incredible. I'm just flabbergasted. Him going to center, I just felt, well, you know what? He's going to be a bit of a liability defensively.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right. I was in 5 cities this weekend, Jim, so I'm sorry. My hat's even more sideways. So, like, he's going to be a bit of a liability defensively, but the bat will play, and just is what it is. But honestly, like, he's been good defensively. So, like, my question now to you, okay, Is he a legit center fielder? And do the Pirates now look at him as he is the center fielder going forward? It's not that he's going to slide back to left field next year when we get a center fielder. Is he the center fielder?
I think you're in a position right now where they can look at him as a center fielder. He's played adequate enough defense. I mean, I think he's at an 8 outs above average Statcast wise. He's playing really well there. So it's at a point now where you don't have to look at, we still need to find a true blue center fielder and move him to a corner. You can go after one of them bigger bats that might not fit the center field mold. And I think he's his extensions just getting so expensive, but he's a guy that you got to build around this guy. Like, I don't want him to end up like a Brian Giles that just gets stuck on a terrible team and we just watch a guy rake.
Yeah. To answer the question, I think Brian Reynolds is the center fielder for the foreseeable future. I mean, like Tyler said, like maybe if you pull somebody in like if you sign Starling Marte, right? Like a Gold Glove center fielder, then maybe you could make that move. But I think at this point you don't have to go out there like you said and find a center fielder, right? You have one. If someone better comes along, then sure. But like that's not something that you have to address. At this point, yeah, just go out there, find some corner bats who can hit a little bit. That's really all they need to do right now.
I think it also takes a lot of pressure off these prospects coming up that play towards the middle. Like an O'Neal Cruz, that he's going to be a corner guy, or any of the guys, because all they do is trade for middle of the field type of dudes.
Right.
But they can play in the corners now.
And actually, no, you bring up a good point with Cruz, because before the injury, we saw a little bit in spring and such, and like we thought a move to outfield could happen, right? But I think a lot of us thought right field just suited up, but he was taking reps in center. So like you're talking about, maybe it does take away some of that pressure. Maybe O'Neal Cruz doesn't have to be a center fielder. Maybe he could just be, if he moves off short, a right fielder. But I'm like really getting on board with this too. Like, to me, how can you say no like next year? How can you say you're not going to be the center fielder? He's at that point now, that catch point where like, this is my effing spot. I'm telling, like, he's not Jackie Bradley Jr. type, defense out there. Like, he's not just going to be this amazing glove, but he's doing very, very well defensively. Way better than I thought. The bat certainly plays. And almost like with you, Tyler, you talk about like roster construction. You can get a cheap now corner bat and be perfectly okay with Brian Reynolds, I feel, in center. To me, he is not a liability at all. And you can kind of play off. I mean, hell, we joke about Kutch, right? Maybe Kutch gets that job now in right field next year. Jim?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, the spot's going to be open, and as I agree with everything that you guys have said. He has been very impressive, and like I said, it's not a need. Like it's not a need that needs to be addressed.
Which was a huge need going into this season. Like, yeah. I think all of us kind of felt like it's Swagger a bust as far as center field goes.
That takes a little bit of pressure off Swaggerty as well. I didn't mention him, but he can go play a corner position because he hurt his left shoulder, but still, like, he can go. He doesn't have to worry about going and manning in the center field position.
True.
If he's still on the team, God only knows. But at the end of the day, they don't have to go sign a Gerard Dyson.
Right. Yeah. That, like, they don't need to do that next year. Like, they don't need to go out and do Fowler, Alford, Goodwin, and try to figure out who their starting center fielder is going to be.
You don't need the athlete that can. Like, you don't need to go find a great defensive outfielder. You can go find some guys that can hit, hopefully.
actually, I feel like he's not thought of too well, but it's something we talked about, and he wasn't traded, and he does have a year of control. But I mean, Ben Gamble,
Brian Goodwin, right?
No, Ben Gamble, who actually has been playing well.
Okay.
Like he's ARB eligible. Like he could be a player next year, and he's been adequate enough. He's shown he's got a decent bat. I think I would be comfortable as long as improvements come elsewhere. Comfortable if you have Gamble out there, you have Reynolds out there, and you find another free agent outfield who you might be able to find the cheap. It's not a bad outfield, potentially whoever the third one is. I would be comfortable with it. But
it gives Hoy Park a spot. Not that he needs to really look for a spot, but it gives another option. Like these types of guys that they've traded for, it gives them options because they don't have to slide in the center field. We don't have to watch Cole Tucker go out there and try to learn center field on the fly.
Also a good point.
Let's talk. I mean, are we done with Red? I want to talk about Hoy Park a little bit, but
we know you do.
Yeah.
God, I'm good at segues.
Whenever we get to there. Yeah. That was a good segue. I want to see this guy play every single day. Like, there's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be in the starting lineup every day. I don't care where he plays. Like, go ahead and just kind of let him be that super utility guy where he's giving somebody an off day every day. I'd rather him not give off days to Hayes or Reynolds anymore, but it is what it is, I guess. But I mean, he needs to be in the lineup every single day. And you like we need to find out, hey, is this going to be somebody who's going to be on this team for quite a while? I mean, so far it's only been 5 games, but the dude has shown that he can hit. So I mean, he has not looked overpowered by any means. He's not striking out. He's putting together good at bats. He's coming up with big hits with runners on base. I really like what I'm seeing so far. Got on base 3 times tonight. Just he's been great.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with, especially with him taking at bats from Rodolfo Castro, because he's just looked awful lately since his little breakout. And I think we're all in the same boat where we're okay with him taking at bats from Kevin Newman. Even though Newman got
absolutely
quote unquote hot, where he hit well for 3 games.
So he became average, is what you're saying?
He found a few gaps for 3 games.
Right.
Or even like Ben Gamble or Wilmer Defoe, or we love him, but Greg, like, there's not a reason you can't find a spot in the lineup for this guy every single night. He's 25. It's that time. Find out if this guy can play Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Because the thing is, too, like, there's very limited amount of time left to do it. Like, honestly, even after this season, no matter what he does, you're going to look back and it's still small sample, regardless. It's still small sample. Like, even think about the Ke'Bryan Hayes situation last year. Like, Ke'Bryan Hayes just came out and just blew the cover off the ball. This guy looked amazing. But you still, in the back of your mind, was like, but is it for real? Because, like, the pitchers still didn't really have time to adjust and everything. You know what I mean? So, like, even this year, even if Park just dominates, you still have some of that questions like, okay, well, is he still this type of player, or will things settle in? So you're absolutely right. Like, I need to see as much as possible from him right now to make that decision, because there's a lot of decisions that need to make, and he's 25. Like, if he is Rule 5 eligible, I'm sure he will get claimed by somebody next year, regardless of what happens right now. Mm-hmm. So let's be sure if he can play or not to some level, so we, the Pirates can keep him. Because if you don't let him play, what was the point of making that trade?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like he could be just like that super utility guy. Like he seems like he can play a bunch of different positions and he's competent at them. So I mean, he can kind of be like that Adam Frazier type guy his first few years, or Josh Harrison, where he's playing 5 or 6 days a week, but never really in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is, I think he can actually play a competent shortstop position, unlike both those guys. And if he can, then that means a lot.
Oh yeah,
especially on this club right now, who could use a competent shortstop.
I mean, you got Marcano that they got a lot of guys that could play there, but none that we know could play there.
Well, I guess what I'm referring to is like right now. I mean, those guys are not
right.
And I wouldn't expect.
I mean, Marcano should be up next year.
Well, next year, I'm talking about like right now.
Right now, yeah, I definitely think that Park's he's not even close to a Newman at shortstop right now. But I mean, what are we talking about? Our pitchers suck anyhow.
I'm fine with Marcano being in AAA right now. I'm fine with Marcano being in AAA for a while, to be honest. He's 21. He clearly hasn't really developed his swing yet. I'm fine with him. I'm fine with him getting like 600 or 700 plate appearances in AAA.
Jim just hates him. Jim's like, just stay there as long as possible so I don't have to watch you. Because I hate you.
Listen,
Marcano. I hate you.
I'm not going to lie. That's kind of where
you look at, he never played, he hasn't even played high A ball yet. He went straight from single A to the majors, actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now playing AAA for the first time, this past month and a half, 2 months, let him get some playing time there. I mean, we're in no hurry.
I agree. And theoretically speaking, if he sticks, which he's going to give every reason to, O'Neal Cruz is the next man up.
Right.
So,
and he's not going to play shortstop either. So
again, they haven't
probably
not done it yet.
Listen, we don't even know if he's going to not be arrested yet.
Here we go. Moving on. But I'm just saying, even on the actually, you know what? Theoretically, I guess I've misspoken. He is in AAA where Cruz technically is in AA. So theoretically speaking, I don't know who's higher in the pecking order this time.
Jim did bring up a good point. He's 21 years old. He got bumped up real quick and made the Padres, who are coming in the year a really good major league team and are a really good major league team. He made the roster. So,
and not
there's
only that,
something there to like.
He had to take the spot of a potential MVP candidate of that really good team.
There is something there to like. Ben Cherington did not go out and get him for no reason. And if he did, then kill me.
That's the second. It's the second.
Yeah, well, I do that
reference there, but no, obviously there's something here that Ben Cherington likes. I don't see anything that I like, but again, I'm not paid to evaluate talent, so that's what he's there for.
I didn't like anything about Brian Reynolds.
Perfect. I was gonna say, don't be so harsh, Jim. I do like the on-base percentage. It's kind of where it ends, but I do like the on-base percentage.
I guess if there's something like if we're comparing him to like I've been seeing a lot of D Gordon, like prime D Gordon things out there.
That's a very
D Gordon never
comp.
walked. D Gordon had like a 2% walk rate, so like that's D Gordon hit like 280 million singles, but also never walked. He was pretty much worthless outside of just a couple years. Hopefully he's a little bit better than D Gordon. But even if he is D Gordon, that's probably fine.
I can't think of like a second baseman I could comp him to, but
like that's part of the other thing too. Like hearing like so we trade Adam Frazier to get the next Adam Frazier, and
I don't want another Adam Frazier.
Well, I just don't really even see that to the degree either. I don't know. I'm not to say like Adam Frazier's great, I mean, he is, but not to say like Adam Frazier's great and like you just replaced this great player with another great player. I mean, he definitely had his struggles, but like even to me, like it's really still not even Adam Frazier. But I don't know. We already talked about this. We can move on from him. Let's get back to Park. You know, I'm all about Park. I want to see as much Park as possible, and that's what I do like about him. Also, like you guys mentioned, I do feel he can be this super utility, and this is a great way of getting these guys, the guys that have to get their rest and out of the lineup. You know, like we've mentioned about Polanco. Polanco has been hot. Like I get why he could still be here for the rest of the year, but he doesn't need to play every day, even if he's here. He doesn't need to play every day. So that's a way of getting Park in the lineup, right? Defoe has played well enough on this terrible club, but it's not like there's no reason that Defoe has to play every day either, or close to part of the every day. Like get Park in there, you know? So there's plenty of opportunities to get Park's bat in the lineup, and that is a must. So far, so good. Bucko Mike is just baiting us into talking about Henry Davis, by the way, because he just won't shut up about him in the chat. So we've been talking about everything but Henry Davis, and that's all his comments are is about Henry Davis.
This is going to be a really interesting discussion about Shelton on what he does with these young guys going forward. Because there's guys like Park, Castro, these types of dudes. Is he going to, when Moran comes, even Nagowski, who looks awful now, he should probably just be DFA'd. Evans, a bunch of guys that probably should not get at bats anymore. It's going to be interesting to see what Shelton does with these types of dudes.
I mean, I have a feeling that, you know, once Moran comes back, I mean, when Moran comes back, like you can't just have Nagowski on your roster.
Oh,
right?
weird.
Like, you can't have.
He didn't listen to last week's episode, did he?
I didn't. No, I didn't. But like, you can't.
He was in 4 cities
there.
that weekend. Tyler, come on now.
I would like to hear Jim's opinion on it, though.
No, but I mean, you can't have Nagowski on the roster. He literally can't play any position other than first base. He's a right-handed hitter. Like, there's no room on the roster for Nagowski unless he's basically your starting first baseman, which isn't going to be the case once Moran comes back.
He's literally Drew Sutton.
The first base version of Drew Sutton. Yeah.
Maybe not literally, but
I mean, Drew Sutton was a little more versatile.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's basically like the right-handed version. He's the right-handed version of like Matt Stairs, but he can't hit it.
No, that's terrible comp.
So he can't hit as good. Like he's not nearly as good a hitter.
Not even close. He was Drew Sutton. He caught a little lightning in a bottle.
I mean, yeah. As far as like from Pirates,
he's Jeff Clement
goes, yeah,
is what you're saying.
A right-handed Jeff Clement with less power.
He's Matt Haig
with no power.
Let's put it that way.
So the part of this
is Matt Haig. If Matt Haig hit for a week,
gosh, Matt Haig.
These comps just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, I think this is kind of telling us what's coming up then with Nagowski. Nagowski, I'm on board with this too. Nagowski was a great story. It was fun. I'm still living in the cult legend of him. Like, you know, I'm all for it, but realistically, even at his best, he's a first baseman with no power. Like you're taking these comps, right? Like if Nagowski hit his complete ceiling, the best version you could possibly get of Nagowski is like James Loney. Yeah. Like he's a first baseman with literally zero power. So, okay. But the thing is, like, he's not going to be hitting 300 either. And he hasn't been hitting 300. So his guy who doesn't hit and hits for no power when he does. So it was fun. But going forward, it's a no-go for me.
It's a no-go for
such a freaking dork.
No, I actually like that pun. That was a good pun. I liked it.
But, Jim, you missed last week. We started with who do we DFA? It started with Polanco, then it moved on. It was like, Phillip Evans. No, I think we're full blown on Nagowski's the dude.
So I already made my stance known on Polanco. I think I don't think he's a DFA candidate, but that just has more to do with I think the team would react very poorly to that.
If you would have listened, you
yeah.
would have heard that.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't listen. So
He was
Phillip
busy
Evans,
sleeping
though,
in 4 cities.
4 cities.
Phillip Evans, though, definitely DFA candidate. Nagowski, definitely DFA candidate at this point.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
all on board with that.
I actually, I'm with you. I think Polanco's here for the long haul.
unless
another 2 months.
he just starts again. Like it could happen tomorrow where he goes 0 for 35. Like at that
I
point in
think
time,
even then, there's enough guys that suck.
Bucko Mike says Nagowski is Brad Eldred with Donardo power. And he puts in quotes, next to none. Oh, thanks. I didn't know where you were going with that, Bucko Mike. Thanks for clarifying that.
He's Matt Haig.
These calls are depressing. Let's move forward.
He has 1 home run in 130 plate appearances. That's just, that's not major league caliber.
That's even Kevin Newman did better than that in 2019.
Like, I don't even want to see Colin Moran hit.
Well,
but
I do.
The thing that Colin
I'm good.
Moran has at least is like if we can get him back into the lineup and he can play well these last 7 weeks, 8 weeks of the year, then like maybe he's a trade chip in the offseason. Like you're not getting much for him, but maybe some team was like, hey, we need a left-handed bench bat.
Weird.
And Moran can be that guy.
It's really weird. It's like someone said earlier in the year that these adjustments we saw really didn't mean anything.
I don't know. I still just like this has been a terrible year for him. Just couldn't stay healthy either. You know, he couldn't prove that those adjustments didn't mean anything because he just went right to the injury list and then just stayed on it the whole entire time. You know, it's like the rest of the season was him fighting back to get healthy, and something else came up and went on the IL for. You know, so like I don't think he was given the fair shot to prove if those adjustments really worked or not. And
They didn't.
To me, that's why I kind of feel like just kind of keep him for next year. I mean, who's going to be playing first base next year anyways?
One of the middle infielders you acquired.
Bark.
Find one of them. Who can play first base? Let's go.
I just kind of feel like he's going to be here next year.
Mason Martin.
I'd rather.
They won't even bring out Mason Martin.
Here's number 3. I'd rather light myself on fire.
Mason Martin playing first base, batting cleanup.
Okay.
Pass. O'Neal Cruz. Not really, because his arm's too good to play first base.
Right.
Yeah.
I just say if Colin Moran's playing first base next year,
Gregory Polanco.
To me, it kind of is what it is. It's not Polanco. It is not Polanco. I'm sorry, but his Pirates days.
He would have been perfect. He would have been perfect.
Well, yeah.
No, I don't think he would have been.
Well,
Yeah. He's certainly coordinated enough to do it.
He also can't hit.
Have you
sometimes.
watched him the last 2 weeks? No, because you've been in 5 cities.
Sometimes. All right. So I'm with you, Nagowski, Phillip Evans. They got to go. Sorry. Moran, though, I don't know. I mean, if he's traded, he's traded. Like, I'm indifferent. I don't care either way. I'm not slamming it on the table saying he's got to be here and I believe in Colin Moran's talents and, you know, like you can't get rid of him. They do. But I could also see a situation where they do just keep him and he's here next year. Like they're going to replay 2021 all over again for Colin Moran. He's here next year. They're going to see what he has.
I mean, if he doesn't survive next year, oh well. I would venture to guess that he's not going to survive next year.
Yeah,
Your hats are insane.
Actually, I should do it this way, huh? That way they can see the Pittsburgh here.
There you go.
Both of you look awful.
You look insane. Do you realize that?
Insane. All right. Nagowski is a no-go.
What's next on the agenda?
I think we should start talking about Jim drunk tweets and drunk.
I don't think I had any, did I?
Oh, I'm sorry, drunk texts.
Did I have any of those?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. We won't share 'em.
I don't care.
How
No,
was
it was usually
how was
no. It was
Narlands?
typically just what the fuck happened today?
Guys, I've been drunk all day. You look at your phone like, Jim, it's 2 p.m.
I'm just coming back to work for my lunch break, and I get a Jim. I'm drunk. What happened?
There was no, we're not gonna go into it. Next topic.
All right, Cabrian Hayes.
Yes. This is your topic, Tyler. Speak to us.
I gotta speak. I don't like doing that.
Let me
It's
just start
like,
off.
you guys-
there. Let me just start it.
You guys
with
are treating
this.
me like I'm on a podcast or something.
I'm treating you with respect, as if you actually have, knowledge to bring.
I do. No,
a
I do
reason to
actually.
be here. Let's get Ryan back.
Wow.
Let me
You know
start
what?
this off then. Let's just start it
It's
just
rude.
with this.
Okay, that's
Brian
fine. I will
Hayes-
kill myself.
Is it the wrist or is it just performance?
I think at this point you have to hope it's a wrist, but when you look at his minor league numbers, we've talked about it 1,000 times. At some point, it starts to creep in your head where it's like it could be a little more. He might just not be that great of a hitter, and I think he is a better hitter than he's shown. And I do think the wrist does matter, but in the back of our heads, I think it does eventually start to creep in there where it's like, oh boy, this could be a problem.
Jim?
I mean, so I think it's a couple things. I think the wrist is definitely a factor. And the reason why I think that is just all the off days that he's getting.
Yes.
I don't think he would be getting all of these off days if he was 100%. So I think there is something there with the wrist that they're not really telling us about, where it's just not. I can't think that it's 100%. Another thing too, and this is just something that I've noticed watching games, and I maybe just need to dig into it a little bit deeper from like a StatCast standpoint. But Tyler mentioned on our text chain a little bit ago, he doesn't seem to be able to get around on inside pitches. And I think some of that just may have to do with his approach. He really likes to, I mean, when he's on, right, he's peppering that 3-4 hole, and he's driving the ball to right field. Like, you can tell that his approach is to drive the ball either up the middle or to right field. He doesn't really pull a lot of balls. So I think what also has happened here is pitchers have realized, hey, this is what he's trying to do. Let's pitch him inside so he can't extend and drive those pitches to the opposite field. So I think we are seeing some more of that, where pitchers are making an adjustment to his approach. And so now it's just a matter of he now has to adjust to the adjustments the pitchers are making, right? So it's kind of like that back and forth thing. I mean, we hear it all the time that, it's one thing to make the majors, right? And then, you burst onto the scene. And then like the one of the hardest things to do at that point is like, how are you going to react once major league pitchers figure you out, right? So that's I think just where he is in his stage of his career right now, is pitchers have figured out what his initial approach is, and they've reacted to it. And so now he needs to also react to what they're doing. Does that mean a change of approach? Does it mean, I don't know what that means. That's between him and the hitting coaches to figure out. but he needs to figure out a way to, hey, if pitchers are gonna throw me inside, I need to figure out a way to pull those balls in play with some authority. Like that's the next step. Once he shows he can do that, then he can kind of regain that whole outside part of the plate, I think. So I think it's a little bit of both. You know, you asked the question, is it risk? Is it struggling?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of a little bit of both.
No, I'm glad
I'm going to cut you off. Hold on, Doctor. Let me cut you off. I'm sorry. I apologize. I really do about this one. But Jim did bring up something I did say about the inside pitch. I think they are really going after him inside. And part of it probably is the risk, but I think another part of it goes back to early year where we were looking at him and thinking, this guy's pitch recognition is so good. We saw him lay off so many pitches that were out of the zone. And at this point, I don't know if we're seeing the same pitch rec that we were, because we're seeing him late on outside pitches. He's rolling over on inside pitches. So I think a pitch rec issue is maybe part to do with it, because he is getting absolutely attacked inside from what I'm seeing right now. I haven't dug into it anymore, but I don't see him really adjusting to it. And he just looks so off balance with his swing.
Yeah. And I guess what I was going to allude to here, and like I said, I'm glad Jim brought that up. And like what you're saying, because I think it's another case where two things can be true. He came on the scene, and again, talk about the small sample, talk about last year. I mean, everyone was so bummed that he doesn't get Rookie of the Year, and part of it is, well, because it's so small sample. Like, no one got to adjust. Like, he came on the scene and just bursted and was so amazing, right? Pitchers didn't have that time to adjust. He comes in this year, in the second game, he gets injured right away. So like you haven't gotten that. So part of it, I believe, and I think what you're finding is he's in that period of time where he has to adjust now. Pitchers have caught up to him. But I think the problem is also, while he's doing it with a wrist that isn't 100%. And to go back to Jim, that's why I believe there is more to this with the wrist. I think there's a lot of people out there saying, no, he's healthy. If he wasn't healthy, he wouldn't be playing this and that. And I feel like, well, I mean, clearly it's not going to you're not going to have any more damage done to it. Like, they feel he's in a situation where it's not going to cause him more damage, but I feel there's some lingering issues with it. And right. So in like the past 30 days, he's gotten 5 days off, and that includes an all-star break. That's to me, like, look, and this past week, he had 2 days off in 4 games. So part of me feels like maybe this wrist isn't all there. They're trying to manage that a bit. And again, like, he's going through these adjustments while trying to manage his wrist. So yes, I just feel like if you're looking at Ke'Bryan Hayes and now looking at him and saying, maybe the minor league numbers are completely true and this is what he is, I'm just saying throw a little bit of caution out there with that, because I do feel personally, nothing proven, right? But personally, that there's maybe more to this wrist also.
I think it might be maybe not too cautious to put him on the IL for 10 days. Just throw out a wrist discomfort. Give him 10 days.
So Park can get more
at
starts.
This point. I mean, do what you got to do, but I don't think it would be a bad thing to do, because what's he going to add? This is a bad team. If the wrist really is an issue, give him some time.
Yeah, I would actually be in favor of that. Like, if it is something where it's lingering, give him, go ahead and give him 2 weeks off. I mean, there's no need to push it with him. I mean, right now. So yeah, I would be in favor of that. If that is happening,
Even if it's not, I'd probably still do it.
Well, I was gonna say, so maybe that's the thing. So if this doesn't happen, does that maybe just kind of debunk that the wrist is fine then, and maybe this is just a complete slump and struggle?
I'd probably just call it that for fun.
Yeah, I feel like if it was struggling though, he would still be getting more playing time than Kevin Newman. You know what I mean? Like, he's still not as bad as Kevin Newman. He's
You make
actually
a very good.
he's
point.
he's like twice as good as Kevin Newman still. So
Yeah.
even while he's been in the slump. So
right.
And yet Kevin Newman's the starting shortstop every day, no matter what.
That's a good point. And it's
yeah,
not
so
as if it's not like there's no one that can play short that Kevin's blocking, and that goes the same with third. It's not as if like, well, we can give him days off because we can play such and such a third. That who cares? So you make a really good point.
Yeah, and I think we saw the Gamble get scratched tonight. Is that what happened? That he got bumped down to
Gamble.
fourth?
Yeah.
I forget why,
But I mean, now we're starting to mess with him in the lineup. Just give him a break. That's where I'm at right now with him. Just give him a 10-day IL.
I'd be in
maybe
favor of it.
maybe when Moran comes up, that's the move.
Could be right.
But I mean, going back though, like I said, there is something that needs to change with his approach too. I mean, the launch angle is super low. It's 3.4. That's basically half where it was last year. The exit velocity, not really a whole lot of change there. But he's not driving the ball with authority because everything he's hitting is on the ground, pretty much.
I think that's something that needs to be dug into a little more too. I do think that there's a difference in, like we said, the pitcher's approach of how he's been attacked. So he's getting jammed inside, and outside he's not really adjusting to the curveball or the off speed as much. So I really do think maybe it's not the swing as much; it's just the approach, which that's probably the easier thing to fix. Hopefully.
If you look like his hit tonight, he drove in RBI single up the middle. He hit it 110 miles an hour. Like, I mean, he just blistered the ball. But 4-degree launch angle. So that ball's not going anywhere. I mean, you put a little bit of lift on a 110 mile an hour ball, and that it's a 430-foot home run. So yeah, I think there's a few things with him. But I definitely think the wrist is certainly a factor.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. So, anyone else we want to cover and talk?
Well, Jim's been in 4 cities in a week, so.
I feel like, have you guys seen Brad Johnson on Twitter/TikTok?
Yeah, about 4
Brad
months.
Johnson?
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm just saying he follows me, but I'm sorry. Just with the hat here, just made me think of him. But
I don't know who you're talking about.
Brad Johnson,